G'day running fam, I'm Average Dom Slim and today I'm reviewing the ASICS NOVABLAST 3. It's also known by its formal title, NOVABLAST of House ASICS. Third of its name, king of the long run, protector of the feet, father of everyday trainers. Anyway, this guy. Now firstly, thank you. You actually helped me select these shoes. Look at this. In November, I post this when I realized that my New Balance trainers probably need replacing, asking y'all for recommendations. It turns out that you runners are really passionate about shoes, really enthusiastic, and really willing to help. In fact, I'm not sure if I ever got so much engagement on a post as this one. So it takes me a little while to tally all the results, but here they were. For me, a notable absence in the top 5 was no Nike. Obviously, it's a relatively small sample size, but Nike was the trainer that got me into running, got lots of people into running, and they make pretty good shoes, so that was a little surprise. Top 2 were obviously ASICS. So in December, I went to my local running store and I tried on these top 2, the Nimbus and the NOVABLAST. Now the Nimbus is a cloud. It's really comfortable, super cushy, for me, a little too comfy. Like, firstly, I felt like I was 6'8" because I'm standing on 2 giant marshmallows. And I couldn't imagine moving in them at any speed. Now I know, they're a daily trainer, you use them for easy runs and long runs. But there are times when you have to move with a little bit of haste, even in my daily trainer, and it just felt like, and I was told, Nimbus isn't really fit for that sort of thing. NOVABLAST, I was told, and I felt, struck a better balance between absolute comfort and support over a lot of kilometers and just allowed you to go a little bit faster when required. I'm talking strides at the end of an easy run or some marathon pace Ks within your Sunday long run. They felt great, they felt right, so I got them. Now shout out to my man Chris Littlejohn who looked after me at the running store. He took me through all these shoes and may or may not have given me a little discount. Thanks, legend. Now we're 4 months later, and I've done 500 to 600 kilometers in these bad boys. So today, I'm answering some questions. I'm also asking the questions, but I will be answering them as well as asking them. It's just me here. Questions like these. Are the NOVABLAST good? What types of runs or runners are they good for? How are they after 600 kilometers of running? Can I wear the NOVABLAST on a dinner date? Are they worth a hefty price tag? And would you recommend to your family and friends and frenemies? Now here's a bit of my theme music and a nice montage, and then we'll get on to answering those questions. Yes, they are good. No, they really are. I love these shoes. Tremendously comfortable, bouncy, responsive. No blisters, no teething issues, just straight into it, and they don't take a lot of getting used to whatsoever. Immediately, they feel like an old friend, an old, supportive, encouraging friend. You feel that cushiony support when you put them on, and moving in them feels really nice, and you get that bounce back, if that's a word. As I mentioned, at certain times in your daily trainers, you do need to move a little bit quicker. You feel really supported by these NOVABLAST. One time, I chucked in a park run during a long run. It happened to be a Saturday. I was doing my long run on a Saturday for some reason, and so I couldn't help accidentally, deliberately stumbling across a park run that was also on the coast. So I popped out a marathon pace 5K and then returned to jogging my long run. Point is, they did great. Now these guys are designed for easy runs, and that includes your long runs. I wear them on Mondays, Tuesday arvos, Wednesdays, Thursday arvos, and Sundays. It's a lot of running, isn't it? Now recently, I went to Africa for work, and I made a decision not to be extra, and I would only bring 1 pair of shoes. So I selected the NOVABLAST. Now in Zambia, everything is dirt paths. but they seem to hold up pretty well. I even did some sessions in them. It wasn't until Kenya that I absolutely ruined these guys, and it made me wish that I'd select my trail shoes as my one pair of shoes. They're not really waterproof, so they're not great in the wet, and they're not very slip resistant, so they're not perfect on the dirt paths or the trails, but they don't claim to be trail shoes. I also recently went to Tasmania, and for this trip I chose 2 pairs of shoes. One, because I was racing a half marathon on the last day in Hobart, so I definitely needed proper race shoes. For my second pair of shoes, I knew that there would be a lot of hiking and a lot of the running would be on the trail, so I selected my trail shoes. So the NOVABLAST didn't make the cut this time, but I was very happy with my selection. These are not a trail shoe, and they're not a race shoe. I'm just stating the obvious here. Now, how are they holding up after 500 or 600 kilometers worth of running? And that's really just an estimate. This year I've done in total 1,500 kilometers, and I got them in mid-December. So we're at about 1,680 kilometers. Maybe it's more than 500. Okay, hold on. Let's say I run 105 kilometers a week in that period. And how many times a week do I do? More like 800 to 900 kilometers that I've done in these guys. That's crazy. Okay, well, to get to the answer, I feel like they're doing really well so far. I honestly don't feel like it's been 800 to 900 kilometers. But it turns out it has. They've been washed since that Kenya trip, by the way. Looking a little bit better now. They're really not showing any signs of tear. Oh, there is a little tear in the heel there, actually. I don't know if you can see that. Not very well. But there's a tiny tear in the heel. Otherwise, in terms of the cushioning and the rest of the shoe, it seems like it's holding up pretty damn well. I am honestly a bit shocked with the mileage that they have done. You know, to level with you, with the amount that I do run, I probably should have a second daily trainer. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to do an episode with a shoe expert on the ideal shoe rotation. Coming soon. Anyway, now that I've realized how far through their shelf life these bad boys are, I would love to get your thoughts and recommendations on daily trainers. This worked really well last time and you guys were extremely helpful. So please let me know in the comments below if you have a daily trainer that you've used that you absolutely love. I'm also looking for anti-recommendations. Now, I do not endorse starting shoe wars in the comments. It's not about replying to each other's with hateful stuff about, oh, I like this shoe, you're an idiot. It's more about sharing maybe, a bad experience. Hey, I wore this shoe and it didn't go well for me. So please let me know what you think, and I will probably end up being led by what you guys recommend. Now, it's not a straight no. If you're cool, and you gotta be quite cool for this one, like I'm definitely not cool enough for this one, and probably a woman, but not definitely, then you might just pull these off on a dinner date, and you could end up looking something like this. But if you fail, you end up looking something like this. High risk, pretty low reward. Now the NOVABLAST are a bit on the pricey end of your daily trainers, but they're good. Sorry. If you run a lot, I think they're worth every penny, if you happen to be paying in pennies. They're very durable, very comfortable, very stable, quite adaptable. You spend a little more and you get quite a bit more. Here's a very quick comparison to a few other daily trainers that I've had. New Balance was good, cost a lot less, not nearly as comfortable as NOVABLAST, not nearly as durable. In fairness, I wore them right to their death and then left them by a bin in Melbourne City. Nike Pegasus are really good. They're cheaper than NOVABLAST and one of the best entry shoes to running. They don't provide quite the same responsiveness or comfort or bounce back. NOVABLAST provide that extra protection on the feet. Great question. Let me take this one quite literally. Some examples. my mum, who has just begun walk running. And I'm so proud of you, Mum. No, I wouldn't recommend the NOVABLAST to my mum just yet. It's too full on a shoe for Mum. It's too big and too thick and probably too expensive. I'd probably get her into a pair of, say, Nike Pegasus or some nice Hoka or Hoka. Now take my brother, who's training for a marathon, and he's doing 80 kilometers plus per week. His long run is up to 30 kilometers. Would I recommend to him? Absolutely. That is all for today, folks. I very much hope that you enjoyed my insights, and I hope I've helped you just a little bit in selecting your next daily trainer. I would love if you could help me by liking, subscribing, and commenting in the comments below, because that's where they belong, what your favorite daily trainer is. And I might just buy them next. I'm Average Dom Slim. Can't wait to see you next week. This video was not sponsored. The shoes reviewed were purchased by me, Average Dom Slim. However, the outro you're about to watch does contain a sponsorship element. I'm really enjoying these fast voiceovers. Last week, I ran a half marathon, and I decided it would be the last race that I do in these shoes. Seriously, they have done me so well. I raced every race in 2023 in these guys, and for 2024, it was time to get new race shoes. ASICS quite literally slid into my DMs on Instagram. Their PR team said they want to send me a pair of shoes. Nicest shoe I've ever seen. Look at it. It's absolutely sick. I guess I've found my new race shoes. It smells amazing. Oh man, I cannot wait to run in these bad boys.